According to what your income is, you pay 30% of your income. So whatever your rent portion is, you're only responsible for your rent portion of the first and last. That housing will also pay towards your move-in cost. Usually when it comes to security deposits, the stuff like that, usually the tenant is fully responsible. Which is still reasonable, because if you're on housing assistance and you're working and you know how to budget, or your goal setting, or whatever the case may be, the only thing that's a little bit more difficult when it comes to searching for other apartments is when it's not an apartment community, the move-in cost is kind of almost double or triple sometimes, causing it to be anywhere from first month's rent to first month's rent times 3. Because usually they will ask for first, last, and security. And here where I live at, you cannot even get a studio apartment for less than about $900 to $1,200. So just imagine if that's a studio and I'm looking for a 3-bedroom. A 3-bedroom here range anywhere from $2,700 to beyond 4,000, but I'm just gonna keep it in the realm of housing assistance. 90%, maybe 80%, of the landlords or the property owners, they're asking for 3 times the rent. Depending on how you discover your information, they're also asking for a fee. If you use any of the services like Trulia or Zillow or any of those other services where you have like an agent that works for you, they usually ask for a portion as well. I say all this to say this. When I really want a unit with a washer and dryer, I like the amenities. The amenities is a bonus, but the amenities is not the main reason why I wanted to move. The main reason why I want to move is because I want to be able to do laundry at home. Who, if you could tell, laundry stresses me out. I have 3 kids and I am currently expecting another one. And with the 3 plus myself, doing laundry and paying bills and working and keeping everything afloat has not been fun. And I don't know, I've always felt like if I was to get a washer and dryer, it's like one less load or something, or one less challenge, I guess, in my life. So we did. So we went to see a place. We liked it. You know, like I said, it wasn't extravagant or super fancy. It's the fact that it has open space. You know, it's a new environment. It was very desirable, if I should say. So by the time we made it back to the office, now mind you, one other thing with the housing process is for every housing authority, I think this part of the application process may have a different name. I like to call it a relocation packet. Some call it RAFTA, some call it something else, I'm not sure. But I like to call it a relocation package, so that's why I'm gonna go with it for now. So prior to this, I had already knew I didn't want anything to hold me back, and I didn't want anything to wait for. So I had already knew that I was in the process of searching for an apartment. So prior to me even finding this place that I was really interested in, I reached out by email to they call it a leasing officer. It's the person that I deal with who handles my paperwork and everything at the housing authority that I'm a client of. So I already have my relocation packet, but mind you, also because of COVID, our relocation packets were sent through email. We didn't have a tangible paper copy. It was sent through email, and what I was going to do was email it to the management office, have them either fill it out online and scan it over, or print it out and fill it out. There's also one piece of document inside this packet that I needed. I needed a tangible piece of this document because I needed to have my landlord actually sign the 30-day notice to vacate. That also goes with this package. If that piece of document is not in that package is incomplete and cannot be considered for your moving. So it's one of those things that it's a requirement. It's necessary. So I sent over the relocation packet, as well as gave the person that I spoke to at the management company my deposit, and I kind of just let them know, yep, I just seen the apartment and I want it. Now, I might be a little off, right, with the exact dates, but the reason why I'm gonna give you the space within the dates, just so I can give you more of a kind of idea. I don't know, I guess why my mind felt like this was possible. So it's May 23rd. I saw a unit available that was coming available, I want to say June 8th. There was another one that was becoming available like June 18th or something like that. And then there was another one for July 2nd. And there was also one for July 28th. Okay, so I think those are 4 dates. Those are the 4 days I can remember. All in all, I do remember there being a total of 5. I do remember there being a total of 5. But like I said, between June and later on, the date for August came up, which is the reason why I didn't mention it right now, because I'm going to tell you how the days went and then include the extra day that came up that all of a sudden was no longer there. So, oh, please excuse me. It just it's so much. I'm trying to figure out how to get it out, and I'm overwhelmed because I'm really frustrated. Anywho, so throughout these dates, everything is a go. So the management company. Now, originally, I spoke to a young lady first, and this young lady had informed me that she had only been working with the company for like 2 or 3 months, and she didn't know very much about how the application process goes when it comes to dealing with tenants or clients that has housing. And she told me that she was going to reach out to one of her partners because he was more well informed when it came to this. And so she kind of, led us to him, even though my friend and I, we kind of dealt with her for our first 2 encounters. The first one was setting the appointment. Because instead of scheduling an appointment over the phone, what I did was I went to the place to see if I could set the appointment. So by the time our second appointment came, we went to see the place. We decided we wanted it. We sent over the application. We put down the deposit to take the unit off the market. I chose my move-in date for July 2nd. And the reason why I chose July 2nd was, 1, because it was one of the dates that they had available. 2 was because I know that the application process takes a little bit of back and forth between the housing community and the management themselves. And I wanted to give myself the 30 days or the time that I needed to inform my landlord, to pack, to allow housing to take the time that they need to adjust any of my income, paperwork, whatever, to make any adjustments that they needed, and also to allow the managed to allow the apartment community that I was seeking to also have a little bit of time to schedule an inspection for the unit. Mind you, the unit is not, or I should say was not, I'm only saying is not. Today is I believe June 30th. Today is either June 30th or July 1st. That's a shame that I don't know. But anyway, at the time, it was not vacant. The unit was still occupied, and the unit was not supposed to be vacant until somewhere approaching the end of June, because the apartment wasn't going to be ready until July 2nd, which means they weren't going to be done with making renovations and everything until July 1st. Now, with that being said, the other issue that I ran into with this application process was I spoke to my leasing officer to let him know that the date that I chose was July 2nd. This is the date that was available, that was within the time that I feel like was necessary for everything to be processed well and pushed forward. And then my leasing officer had informed me that they only allow us to move on the 1st and the 15th. We cannot pick any other date as a voucher holder. So now at this point, because of the 1st and the 15th rule, it is up to the landlord to decide if they're willing to change the move-in date to either of those days to allow me this opportunity. I find a flaw in that. Because if I'm a homeowner or a property management and I have an apartment that's available by the 2nd, I want somebody in by the 2nd. I don't want to have to wait until the 15th. Yeah, I could be nice and consider someone's personal situation. But when you have a job to do, people not worried about your personal situation. They're not worried about your reason for wanting to move or your wants or whatever. They're just trying to do their job. So the green light or the access I thought was granted to me. So with that being said, there were several emails sent back and forth between myself, my leasing officer, and the management company representative. He, decided, you know what? I'm just going to put on your application move-in date for the 15th. So now I'm really excited. I'm like, yes, this is going to work. He actually changed it. I know he didn't have to if he didn't want to. And because he decided to, it just gave me a lot of hope. It gave me a lot of hope. And I knew I was going to pass the credit check because I knew my credit was 730. It had just reached 730 like 2 days prior to me going. So I was even more happy. I'd already managed to get it to 700. So I was already going to go because of the fact that it was 700. But because of the fact that I've been doing so much work on it, it was just 30 more points than what I thought it was going to be. So the credit check didn't bother me. The date seemed to work out. Although I wasn't able to move on 1st, he allowed me the 15th, which I thought was great. And so nice. At this point, I'm feeling like there's nothing that can stop me now. Nothing. Okay? Nothing. Anyway, so going forward, I don't want to get too much into my friend's experience. I do want to say that she also has a housing voucher, but hers is from a different housing authority. And although majority of the process is very similar. There were minor differences that she and I had. I'm not going to go into detail with that, but what I am going to say is I'm not sure if her situation affected me or not. I kind of think it did. I don't know if I just feel that way because because I was a little emotional because of all of this or whatever. But anyway, moving on. Um, so he gave me to the 15th. Um, the reason why I'm saying this about my friend's situation is because after he told me the 15th and we processed the application and everything, I didn't hear anything back. So I had started preparing to move. I started buying boxes, I started buying tape, I had started packing up my house because at this point, what else could fail? He moved the move-in date to the 15th. I put the deposit on to take the apartment off the market. He sent the paperwork that was necessary to my leasing officer, along with a signed copy of the 30-day notice to vacate that I had my landlord sign. I scanned it and faxed it and scanned it over to him. He was able to turn in a full packet. Like everything was good. Everything was good. Everything was go. Everything passed. So at this point, I'm waiting for my move-in date. That was it. That's all I was waiting for was my move-in date.